Hello. This is Dirty 20 Gaming. My name is Kevin, and these amazing and wonderful people have come to play a game with me tonight, and that makes me happy. Let's start with these wonderful people telling us about themselves. Let's start with Solar Dasher.
I am Solar Dasher. You can catch me here on Fridays playing Blake and going barrel. Uh, Thursdays have been put on hold for just a little bit. Hopefully, we can all get it back together
Oh, yeah.
in due time. But um, I am still working on trying to stream. I think I found a device I could use. I just need to have the money to do it,
Excellent.
get it, and all that fun stuff. Money is the sin of the world. Hmm.
Also,
Otherwise, you
the
can
grease
catch me
that
in.
makes the wheels go around.
Yeah, otherwise you can catch me in our Discord too.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Uh, Thank you very much. Quick fingers and all. So let's scoot along. Let's go over to. I'm going to use your screen name because I always do. Primus. Tell us about yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Aaron, also known as Primus. You can find me here on Fridays playing Mickey O'Houlihan. You can find me eventually back on Tuesdays over on Charlie Xavier D&D playing June Seabreeze and Dragons of Starbucks Isle. And I'm very excited that next week
Dun, dun,
on
dun,
Thursday night over on Charlie Xavier D&D, I will be playing for the very first time Curse of Strahd with my very special Harengon Paladin, Theobon Cottontail. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna love it and be terrified at the same time.
Have
I'm
fun.
in the middle of a campaign myself of Curse of Strahd that's
Oh,
not televised. And oh my gosh. My characters,
it's a
yeah, it's great.
nasty campaign. And especially if everybody leans into it. But yeah, let's move on.
Trust everyone. Trust
Yeah.
everyone you meet. That's
Yeah,
the
that's the
attitude.
underlying. Yep, that's yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good advice. Let's just keep going around the Zoom link here, and go to Sean, who appropriately has the portal to the next nasty right behind him. Uh,
Hi, it's Sean, Bells for Donors. You can find me here on Friday nights playing Ted, love a little scoundrel. But he he's working on it. But I'm still basically working on getting some of my charity games back up, getting getting those contacts out to my old sponsors and seeing what all we can pull together to get some much needed funds for some worthy charities.
Absolutely. Pop and again, pop into our Discord. Anybody who's interested in that, and we can get you pointed in the right direction from there. Which brings us around the loop to Eddie.
Hey, my name is Eddie Elfman. I'm an Edmonton-based voice actor. I'm also a GM who recently ran Curse of Strahd, so have fun. It's gonna be there's a few moments in the book where you're reading it and you go, really? Is this gonna make me do that? Okay,
Yep.
sounds good. Save
Well,
or die, I guess.
Yeah.
I have like a page and a half of handwritten extra rules for Curse of Strahd that we're using on top of Curse of Strahd. So it's like Curse
Oh.
of Strahd on, I wouldn't say like legendary difficulty, but definitely like
Heroic.
Oh, yeah.
the
Yeah.
heroic level
Absolutely.
difficulty.
Oh, for some reason, because of Curse of Strahd, I bought like a Plague Doctor mask that I have
That is
because
awesome.
there's a character is a Plague Doctor character. But when I'm not running D&D for groups of people, I do some voice acting on the side. You can find me on Casting Call Club, or you can find me on other social medias like Instagram and the TikTok. And poke me if you have any projects that are coming up or you're looking to get introduced to the space and want some tips on where to get better because everyone's trying to get better. I don't know. Reach out to me. You can also reach out to me at our lovely Discord. But that's about it.
Links everywhere, just like I like it. Because if we all support each other, then we all get supported. That's cool how that works. Speaking of mutual support, first of all, missed it by a second. The game we're playing tonight is the system we're using is Stealing Stories for the Devil from Monty Cook Games. The virtual tabletop, which will probably come up at some point tonight briefly, is Roll20. And the character art was done using Hero Forge. The overlay background, if anybody cares, is from Pixabay. It's actually the Magna Carta. With that, now let's get back to 75% of a team. Because 3 of you came roaring back through time and space and whomped down in the now multiply changed London. A London of an amazing plasticity historically, one might say. And only to be sort of immediately surrounded by a weird British version of Mardi Gras, because the Guy Fawkes guys from the museum the other day have they're still drinking and running amok. It's only actually been one day, and they and the mayhem that they have caused are sort of swirling around you as you come back to 2023. But back you are, but just the 3 of you. What do you do?
Well, immediately look around. Any
Mhm.
obvious signs of change, like basically just trying to any visual
Well,
changes.
cumulatively now, old London, as you started, is essentially gone. It's changed into an unpredictable mass that isn't on any map from when you started, because the Romans never got here, the fort never got built, the tower never got. A lot of things got done differently. So that whole section of the city is utterly different than it was. As for recent changes, this last trip, it's more subtle, but you can notice there's all but no Roman names on streets or anything else. And just to play into a stereotype, no straight roads. I think I can make I can get away with stereotyping Romans as being in favor of straight roads. So, but without them having built London and used it as the hub, at this point, not all roads lead to London, but not like they used to, I guess would be the way I would phrase it. They kind of do
So
this now.
everything's a roundabout. Okay.
Yeah, it's just an infinite series of linked roundabouts.
Okay. Well, looking at the group, and it's like, well, I'm going to guess we should try to get back to Cullen and see what we can come up with.
Might be a good
I'm
idea.
wondering if he's still there after what happened last time we were there, though. I'm kind of worried.
So, being here, do we actually feel that pull still?
Even more so. It's uncomfortable. It's like trying to not fall down a slide that you're already on.
Mm.
I'm gonna guess he's still around, but should we go?
Yeah, probably quickly. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Hey, Mick, I can take you to your vehicle, my friend. I'm parked nearby.
That's so boom, boom, boom. We're just gonna. I want to scoot the 3 of you there because, well, I actually have to ask. How fast? You said you're in a hurry. Are you doing like? Are we doing camera shots and crane shots and lighting and near misses? Are we doing that scene through London to get the Callum?
If it makes the little tug less painful, sure.
It makes you, yeah. You want to just, yeah. I love it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm zooming on my bike.
All right. So you just cutting through traffic, doing the full Ocean's 11 sort of hanging from the
Yeah,
ceiling.
doing
Tom
I was
Cruise,
gonna
yeah.
I was gonna say OG Fast and the Furious.
There
Oh,
you go.
if you must, but yeah, okay. But yes, you know what I mean. That crazy out crazy driving.
Yeah.
You skid to a stop outside the flat And I mean, the curtains are heavy, but you could still see what looks like lightning behind them. It's just this constant zapping. There's a couple people walking up down the street that are completely oblivious, though.
I got the door the last time, so yeah, Nick, is it your turn again?
Okay. It goes up and
Walk up
opens
the stairs.
it.
You you turn the door handle and you get the and it opens. It's like opening the door on the eye wall of a tornado, except it's all electronic. Things that used to be part of a couch go by, but it's like a rendered, like just an arm. And then even that breaks up, and the next time it all comes around, it's just that little curving shape that goes over the corner. The next one is a texture that's not on anything, but it's all just the hologram is in here spinning. And a little tiny corner of strangely pale carpeted and painted white walls with only the alcohol behind him, unwilling to throw that into the void. He stands with a bottle in each hand, looks across at you and goes, "Oh, you're back then."
Yeah, but it looks like the rest of your room is gone.
"Oh, I'm about fucked. It took everything. The worst part was the bathroom. I'm gonna miss that. I never had a bidet before."
My word.
And he goes,
I don't need to know about your personal business like that, Callum.
"That's okay. In a second, I'm gonna be gone anyway."
Wait a minute. We still need you, don't we?
"Probably." And he has a drink out of the other bottle.
So, was this supposed to happen?
He slow blinks you like he's giving you a chance to take the question back.
No, really? If you have,
No,
have you done anything
no.
like this before?
No one's ever successfully done this before. I thought I'd made that strangely murky when we started.
Murky being the key
I thought it was more of like, if it had been successful, we wouldn't know any difference.
Hey, and if I disappear, pop bang in a second here, no one will know the difference. Do you see?
But is that a good thing or a bad thing?
For me or for you?
Well, does that take you back home?
This blots out the memories.
No, I meant the swirly thing. This swirly thing.
It's going to take me, that's for sure.
But
But where?
does it take you home?
I don't think anyone knows. For all we know, it could take him to a random taxi in early 20th century London, for all we know. Or he could end up in the middle of Scotland, in the middle of a bunch of sheep.
I don't think he'd like that much.
So it looks like your TV's gone. So do we have any ideas of what we're supposed to be doing then?
Well, I've got one.
What do tell?
Okay.
And he kind of points with the bottle from where you guys are standing out on the balcony or out on the stoop to
Mhm.
he kind of waves you in, and you look in, and there's kind of that wireframe is still there that we talked about before, but like that slide that you guys were on coming here, it just goes away from you into a digital wormhole.
Are we
I'm not
supposed
going to bother to ask if that's safe to walk on.
Oh, it's definitely not. You don't have to walk on it, just step in it. It'll take you wherever you're supposed to go. I don't think the world for options is left in this one. This hologram's all but fucked. And that at the end of that, it's 2 bottles. Like
I feel like
Okay.
whatever it is we're doing,
the red gummy.
when it's done, I feel like everything should hopefully reset back to to a new original state.
For you,
Maybe.
for you lot, yes, that seems the most probable outcome. Most probable outcome for me is spread uniformly across the universe in a mindless, shapeless, voidless mass. That's sort of the best option at this point. And he's backing up. He's got 4 tiles left to stand on. The alcohol's starting to. It's down to like he's in a tube at the top of a water
Well,
slide.
I just hope you aren't sentient for that entire bit and go the Odo Trades route from the Dune series, where basically he's in an endless dream for ever and ever.
Yeah, that's the thought to put into my head just before this happens. Get down that tube.
That's why you need to keep drinking. And Mick just jumps in.
And as he brings up this bottle, the bottom of the bottle gets kind of shaved off by the wireframe. Oh no! And his arm gets pulled in, and you watch him lose all his color and shape as he makes his own little wormhole that goes boom, and it goes down and spirals around the big one that he wants you to go down, off into the distance.
Oh no. I think we better go.
Oh, Mick had already jumped in.
Yeah, so Mick's gone. Blake, we should go. Oh, yeah, Mick's already gone.
Um,
Ted and
Yeah,
Blake, yeah.
we doing this, Ted?
I wish all the bottles went over there.
They're gone. That whole corner is gone now. So yeah.
We'll
But I
get
love the
some when
line.
we get back.
Yeah.
What? Wait.
Back. Did you not just see what? Ah, screw it.
Oh, we're still missing
step-
someone.
And you step in.
Steps in.
The 3 of you
But yeah, she'll follow you eventually.
for the non-copyrightable purposes of this, think of a certain blue box spinning through space. Yeah. Do music.
Mhm.
Except that at the end of it, you are spit out, rolled out, like falling out of the back of a truck, kind of falling out into what first starts as this infinite black space that you guys know by now. It's almost comfortable, especially when the heat and the smell and the sounds hit. And the 3 of you slam down onto a cobbled road with open sewers on both sides. Buildings rising 2 to 3 stories on both sides, blocking out most of the sun, and looking up to see a wall of fire at the end of the street. 1 reaction each. Ted, you started it. I watched your face move.
Okay. I think we had this one picked for us.
Yep. The other 2, Mick and Blake.
I forgot my stuff to make s'mores. Damn it.
Blake.
How are we gonna get enough water to put that thing out?
Bam.
Well, actually, according to the map, it's a fire that a woman could piss out.
At
We
one
should be
point,
fine.
it's 1 point. That's one of the things that was said. Yes. It's past that. It's blocks square now.
All right, maybe it's 3 of them. Okay.
Meanwhile, between while and actually back a long while, Tyler.
Yeah.
You have the unique experience of watching the 3 of them fade away. Last couple times you've been the fader with them. This time you just didn't go. You're left here, skateboard, Shakespeare, burning theater, 1613 and all.
Oh, what happened? They touched your manuscript thing, your book you were writing, and he just kind of like slaps the paper.
Yep. Nothing.
No, like it's supposed to work. I know that's pretty crazy. Like, how's he reacting?
He's doing what writers do. He's writing madly.
Oh, Okay. So I don't have my parents around here, and I'm supposed to go back to where I came from. And this isn't an interesting idea for a play. Okay, stop it, please, please, please.
Oh yes.
I get it. I get it. There's lots of potential for a good arc here. Help me. I'm a child, and I don't know what's going on.
What can you do? Are you good at lifting things?
Oh God, you want to give me a job?
Oh,
Um,
can you act?
there's like the camera that's over the shoulder coming out of the backpack.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm good with electronics and
With who's electronics?
dancing.
Dancing.
I have
Oh,
good
that
footwork,
thing,
I guess.
the thing you did on the with the and he's Shakespeare's at a loss of words trying to explain your skateboard.
Yeah, it's
It's
a skateboard because
That-
skate around, kind of like you like slide, but like rolling. You guys don't even
Why isn't it
like
called a
looks and sees a big
rollerboard?
carriage and he goes, yeah, it's I don't know why it's called that, honestly. Because we had these other things in the 90s called skates, I think. If you watch old like music videos, you can see
The 1590s. Can you do that and talk at the same time? Like remember lines and say them well, because you were and that speech that you gave was. We can fake a fire background.
Sure. Yeah. If honestly, as if that's my only opportunity,
Oh, y-
Mr. Shakespeare, absolutely. Let's go do whatever's gonna keep me safe and hopefully out of filth. Then none of this is good for you. It's just gestures. He goes, really? Like,
and he looks.
really? It's really bad for you.
He
Like,
looks-
it's not like a smell thing. Like, it's like there's like, I'll talk to you about it over the next little bit and tell you about basic hygiene. Okay.
And he nods all of that and he's making notes and he says, no, if we only had a theater. But to skip ahead slightly, shall we say, thus began the career of the famous. What name do you go by? You famous Shakespearean actor.
Whoa. Didn't think that I would be an actor throughout this period of time.
Neither did I till about
You know
92
what?
seconds
Let's,
ago.
let's say that this is a character that's really well known for fiction from reality. And there's a lot of complicated history about whether or not Shakespeare and this person were the same person. I'm for Sir Francis Bacon.
Sir Francis. Oh, wow.
He just go
Oh.
Francis and then sees like a pig and goes Bacon.
Bacon. Oh, even better.
Yeah.
By accident. Oh, because
Okay.
of your
Oh.
lack of history skills.
Sure.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh. Well, the rest
And
of
there's-
it is self-explanatory, isn't it? Because of your success, at some point in the future, you're going to be knighted for whatever services you have performed. But here's where I go into like job interview mode, where they say, "So where do you see yourself in 5 years, Tyler?"
Well-
after that start.
Honestly, I just kind of tell people a basic like middle school and high school like science class, like you like have a hypothesis. I explain to them the scientific method.
Okay. Yep.
As
Beautiful.
which comes from Sir Francis Bacon.
Yep.
And
Yep.
because strangely, this person is one of the only like actual people in history that you could be like, was this a time traveler? The way he talked about it, everything.
Yep.
So he kind of just talks and goes,
Oh.
eventually like in a school drawing on it, and he goes, okay, so assume we can't actually know everything, or probably eventually assume we don't actually know everything. Let's say what we do know, and then let's call that like the king and the empire, the empirical knowledge that will be called empiricism. And he just kind of goes
Oh.
and starts
oh.
explaining all of logic and ends up at the University of Cambridge, I guess.
Oh,
and,
wow.
and
Yep.
eventually becomes really well respected by Elizabeth I.
Tyler.
Buddies with Shakespeare.
Tyler, the teenager that never paid attention in history.
Is this the right time period? Anyways,
It is now.
it
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
you absolutely. And I just want to add just a couple little strings. The first of all, brilliant. Take many experiences for that. But where was I going now? I forgot. Never mind. Let's just leave it. So you become world famous. You end up at a university speaking. Eventually, you retire. What does the world famous, for different things, but world famous Francis Bacon do when they retire? Because they never got the opportunity to answer this question.
All right.
They were rather retired.
Okay, so this alternate reality version of
Yeah.
Sir Francis Bacon is married to
Okay.
Alice, just like the real one.
Yeah.
And is a little confused by why people don't spend a lot of time in certain parts of London,
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't really like the having someone pick out or bring the bread. So he goes down to his favorite bakery as one of the only things he really does in retirement.
Yeah.
In London to pick out some like fresh loaves. I suppose he looks out of place being a gentleman
Mm-hmm.
in this less posh neighborhood. But it's in a previous life didn't really see people as being a part of different classes. Just
Yep.
thought they were all were people. So it's probably a regular.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't run into too many like issues, and is a upstanding local citizen.
At 100%. You go down to this very special bakery and you get the family bread. But you don't get out much and you deserve it. So treat, right? Why not? What do you get yourself to eat on the way home? It doesn't have to be historically accurate. I just like, yeah.
What time of year is it?
It is midsummer, height of the heat. And the mug. 'Cause it's London, so it's muggy. Yeah.
I'm probably gonna get a nice crisp apple cider straight out of one of the local tap rooms.
Okay. So as you walk out of the bakery and turn to head for that drink, one of the little scoundrels in the street who doesn't know you and doesn't understand that you would support them if you even saw them, but they throw a rock in your general direction, but it misses and it goes into the bakery and hits a lantern that gets knocked on the floor underneath the table, and we all know what happens from here. But you're blocks away before that starts. But as you're almost home, you hear a row and a fuss behind you. And maybe you were distracted or just not listening, but when you turn around, there's a large fire and people running towards you.
No. Those bastards are still privatizing the firefighters. Someone call the
Safe-
brigade. I'll pay the fee. And he's just kind of rushing, trying to grab
Trying to
people and
control
get
people.
places insured on the fly, which is
Yeah.
what used to happen.
Yes.
in
Oh, yes.
1600s.
Yes, they bloody did. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Ambulance chasers got nothing on insurance companies. But yes, so perfect timing. You see, by the way, you're now, what is that, 53 and you were 13. So you're 66 years old
Mhm.
at this point, and people are running past you. Nobody's listening, but there are three figures lit, like highlighted, silhouetted against the fire that's several blocks away from you. They sort of, you see them sort of stumble and fall to the ground. They're the only ones left in the street. There's something weirdly reminiscent. You smell Rome, you smell Boudica's camp.
Does it click?
You that's I'm assuming yes. After all
Oh.
this time, I was like, wait, what?
Did Tyler visit Whitaker?
Okay, so
No.
London
No.
Bridge, whatever, whatever. You
Yeah.
you you
Yeah.
get you get a
London
There's a
Bridge.
series
strange
of
thing. I see people from out of time.
yes.
What are you doing out in the street? Are you
And
fucking kidding me?
the three of
Uh,
you
we're
see
in the street.
the three of you have fallen to the ground. You kind of come up. You see the fire. You turn around, and this old man says that to you. What are you doing here? Are you fucking kidding me?
Ted?
Hmm?
Is that the Earl of Sandwich?
I don't know. I
I
thought he
must
was
have-
plumper.
Gotten hitten by that rock. Well, if you're going to help figments of my imagination, do something about it. Come on. There's people
Right.
in those buildings.
Right. Well,
Ah.
so to keep yourself safe, it would probably be best if you got yourself to safety, sir.
He
Also-
just stares and goes, "You
Ted-
know what, Ted, it's fine. I'll keep myself involved. You just help out Blake and Mickey."
How
Wait.
do you know their
Wait,
names?
Wait,
What the fuck? Who are you?
is Ted? Is this Tyler? Did he get stuck here? And now he's gotten old?
It's funny that you keep mentioning that, but you're not real, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. You can't have.
Yes, it is.
One of the things on the list was the Great Fire. God,
Yes.
I wish I paid attention. I didn't know the year. It's
I
been
think this-
53 of them. Now that I've been keeping track.
Well, you've
Wait a
lived
minute,
out your dislike for history and you've become it, but we've got bigger things we need to
I
do
still
right
don't
now.
like history. Do you know what it was like to not understand what was going to happen? Just
yeah,
this.
pretty much everything we've done is
Oh,
Blake,
God.
you've been really quiet, Blake, since the revelation. What's the response?
I keep seeing this vision in my head, and I think that they might go ahead and do that.
Yep.
Just walk up to Tyler and do what they call a Gibbs slap. Just smack him on the back of the head.
someone is trying to slap me. Is there any? I'm agile. Can I roll a trait?
Well,
I'm
yeah,
agile
yes,
too. so-
yes, you can,
Yeah.
but you did just you did just refer to them as figments of your imagination.
Yes, that is fair.
So-
And that's fair. Okay.
So
Just
So it's basically supposed to be like a little wake up
The-
call.
proof of reality. So yeah,
Oh,
you're a
all right.
figment.
women don't slap men around this time, so you definitely are from the future. Okay.
I'm not referring. I'm not female. Excuse me.
Oh, it's been 53 years. I apologize. That's entirely uncouth. I tried to explain that to them. Didn't go well, especially
Don't
when I was
worry
talking
about
about
it.
the
Let's
colonies.
just keep moving. There's a
All right.
freaking fire for crying out loud.
Yes. Yes. Looks to
So,
see if
Just
there's a.
before we get to the big Bernie thing, what did you do? Is there anything we should know about before that would complete what
I
we're trying to do?
Thought I was going to be stuck here for the rest of my life, so I just explained all middle school chemistry and physics to them. Hope that doesn't interfere too much. They probably had it figured out by now.
Yeah, we're probably screwed with all those fire things. So,
Not like I know any of that anyway. Jeez, my head's a black
Um,
hole like we just came through.
Yeah.
Why don't we just put a pin in that
So
idea?
yeah. Let's give
Let's
you
just
that
put a
too.
Pin in that idea, and we've got to get to that one place to deal with this.
Well,
What is it? We need a plaque
Put
from
it-
the bakery, was that?
Well, that was to
Pudding
get you
Lane.
here.
Yeah.
You're kind of
Oh.
here.
We're already here.
So yeah.
well, unfortunately, I don't know. It
How in
depends
the
on how long
bloody
this has
hell
been
did they put the
burning.
fire out?
I mean, there's the
Half hour.
thing
maybe.
that I remember they would do with forest fires, which is where they would burn ahead of the fire to deny it fuel.
Make a fire break.
And
Do
actually,
we have any cards for this session?
Oh yes,
Sorry to
yes you
interject.
do. Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I was just
obviously.
looking to be like,
Yes,
it'd be
yeah.
super cool for me to be prepared in this scenario.
Yeah,
After
yeah,
53
let's do
years
that.
here.
Let's do that. I'm gonna give you one for free, but yes. Thing where it's difficult to get the cards.
It's insane how everyone used to act here. Since being in a position of privilege here, I educated them that you shouldn't have any excrement in your water sources. So there should be plenty of large aquifers or elevated tanks up on tops of the buildings. Maybe we can try and grab some of that as opposed to getting things from the Thames.
Well,
Let's-
if you have rooftop water tanks, that might actually make it easier. And if we don't get to them in time, it could potentially be self-dousing. That could be handy.
Okay. Come on.
a little bit of that too, yeah.
That does assume that the heat of the fire doesn't make all the water evaporate first.
Well, with some luck, it'll burn the wood first.
Oh, come on.
At least support.
Possible, but we don't really have a way to. Again, I haven't explained this to you. There's no such thing as a fire brigade here. They just, or firefighters, they just have buckets, and someone has quite a large kind of
And-
tank that
and
they
then-
bring around.
And in this
So
part of town, mostly they're right. It's knocking down a block to keep it from burning. So you hear that around you, that conversation sort of behind you as some of the wannabe leaders of this area are talking about knocking down this whole block and knocking down that whole block. The idea of putting out the fire is occurring to no one but the four of you.
What if we split up?
I've
Two of
given
us
you
look
your
to try
cards,
to-
by the way.
Two of us look to try to set up a fire break, and two of us look to try to get the water where it needs to go in order to put out the fire. We attack it on both fronts.
Okay.
Okay.
Tyler, do you happen to know approximately where some of these water tanks would be?
Yes, I helped install them, so should be able to help you because I have just the thing. I've planned for this contingency, and I produce one object, which is a map of all of the water tanks in the local area
Ah,
that I
you-
have in my back
know what?
pocket.
That you have
You
insisted
know what? I have
on.
a skill that can go along with that
Oh.
too, because I was thinking about just saying it. I have
So-
full spectrum vision,
Yeah,
which because that's what I was doing right now was reading up on it.
yeah.
It says useful effects of this are that you can see differences in heat sources.
Yeah.
So I can try and find like the really really big hot spots.
The actual
So we could
yeah.
try and get the water on those to try and cool
absolutely.
down
Yep.
too.
And I have that too, as well as woodworking. So if we need to basically, for the structural integrity of these tanks, to be able to potentially
Yep.
break them down so
That
they
works.
fall in the direction we need them to for water
I love
water targeting.
it. Okay. And Mick, what is your intent to add to this?
With them all looking towards dealing with putting out the fire, Mick is just gonna look to see where the fire is going, and it's gonna look to get like a couple blocks ahead of it
Yep.
and start setting up a fire break.
Okay. by setting up a fire break means knocking down buildings in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's
And
plenty of people that
obviously
will
he
help
would
you.
evacuate
'Cause-
said buildings first.
Oh yeah, but that's yeah, and that is standard procedure for around here. So you have no problem finding people to help you start knocking down these buildings. They're 2 and 3 story wooden buildings. You take the footings up from under them, they come crashing down in a heartbeat. So you start that process. The fire break. Quick side note: by water working and plumbing a large portion of the city of London, you may very well have prevented at least one outbreak of the Black Death. Just because, that started at a well not far from here, actually. When it spread through London on one of its many excursions. I don't remember the year, but it's close and bloody enough. So you haul out the map. You find the spot. Yeah, you find the spots where you could break the hoses up high and cause the wire to spew out over where the fire currently is, and to start to fire to break that up. The reason I stopped is because at some point during that conversation where you're telling them here, 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 and here, what is the thought process? You've had a couple seconds now to realize who they are and, let's be blunt, how old they still are, and who you are and how young you are not.
The thought process is these are people that he's interacted with, that he's thought about, well, many years that he thought about like starting a family. I'm not sure if Francis Bacon ever had kids. Let's say that like he started a family and like the kids like kind of grew up hanging around here.
Yeah.
And these are like locations that have such vivid memories. So he's very like located on this
Yep.
this life, his real life.
Yeah, okay.
Because
So, yeah,
this has been his life for the last 53 years, and
Yeah.
he's like, I haven't tried to
you know these people.
think about the
Yeah.
old place
Yeah.
in so long, and it's just been kind of like explaining. He's done so well just by like lucking into being around someone that was successful, being able to get ahead in life through that success,
Yeah.
and then like just basic hygiene helped him a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Helped him a lot.
that-
Like he has like good teeth.
Oh yeah.
Like that's a thing that everyone thinks is weird about him, is that he actually like brushes his teeth.
And he still has
Like,
his real
still
teeth.
a strange thing.
Yeah.
But
So yeah,
yeah,
you're
it's
respected.
roll up
You
the
know
sleeves stuff.
everybody, right? I mean, when the buildings start coming down a couple blocks away, you know who lived in those buildings. And you know they were going to burn if they don't knock them down, but that doesn't make it easier thinking about their shit out in the street, because it could be yours, right? You live in a nicer neighborhood that's not being threatened right now, but it could be, would be, right? The other three, you're looking across the table at a man who is not going to be scurrying up on any rooftops today. He's not going to be skateboarding down Main Street, probably, although it would be an awesome finish. But you can tell looking at Tyler that he's gonna, he's got the idea and the map, but it's gonna be you guys that have to go break these pipes and cause this stuff to happen. I do have one quick question before we ask the what are you doing, because I have one more question for Tyler. Where, oh where, are your skateboard and dead phone? I'll leave you to think about that. Well, the other the other three sort of have that moment where you realize the other two, Blake and Ted, because Mick's off doing it the old-fashioned way. So the two of you have got this map, you got this plan. You're gonna have to get up on the roofs. You're gonna have to break these water mains, taking out years of hard work, but hopefully putting out the fire, or at least controlling.
Yeah. So, looking about, it's like, I know you can get up there with no problem. I'll join you in a moment as soon as I can get up there.
Mm-hmm.
And starts looking for a way to get up, one of the buildings where he might be able to get up onto the roof.
Uh, there's no locks on the doors. You can go into any building and just go up the stairs onto the roof. It's not 2023. There's no cameras and electric locks and alarms.
Are we sure?
So-
Tyler's been here a while. Sure, no cameras.
He's
Right,
focused on
fair enough.
hygiene, not paranoid conspiracy theories.
Oh, I just figure he's got to
Yeah.
film his walks in the streets.
Is-
Ruby, stop it.
So get up onto the roof and basically having taken a picture with his phone of the map, so has it for reference points. Head on down to start heading down towards the tanks and the piping that we would need to get to that are going to be closest to Pudding Lane.
Okay, so you're going right to the source pudding lane. Love it. All right, so
There,
you
or
sort
at
of
least
blast
at
the
this
guts
point,
out of the fire, right? So
yeah, get that.
Yep.
The intense hot spot. Try to get it to die down.
Perfect. Blake, that means I'm going to give you the choice.
Okay.
Looking at the map and looking at the waterways, there's one obvious place. That's where he's headed, right to the source. Everything else is a choice. So something's going to burn. You have to decide what does and doesn't. The choices basically boil down to what used to be old London, the part that you've completely changed. Even here in 1666, before it was on fire, yes, Pudding Lane is here, but it was very, very different than it would have been if you hadn't done the Boudica and all the other stuff.
Right.
Or you can push that fire by using your water to sort of direct it, basically. You could push it north into an area of there's no other way to put it, mansions and landed gentry and yeah, big homes with gardens and such. So we'll leave you at that. Mick. Let's give everybody something to ponder. You're grinning. Oh, I'm a bastard and you can yell at me later. Mick, you're helping to knock down these walls. We got animals out here. We're pulling wood out, like pulling the struts out with oxen and everything else. And you walk across the street to the next block, and it takes you a second to realize why this feels weird. It's because this is the block you were born on in the real world, or where you lived in the real world. This is where, oh, even better, this is where your sister currently lives in the real world. It's a nice part of town now, but at this point it was kind of meh. But who knows what will happen if you tear it down.
Mick like has that momentarily far away look in his eye,
Yeah.
and then there's a part of him that even though the fire is blocks away, the rolling heat
Oh yeah.
and the haze
And the
washes
occasional
over him,
whomp of a building going up. Yeah.
brings him back to the present, the present moment that is.
Mhm.
And he's just like, I can't worry about that right now. I have to stop this in
Yep.
the way I know how. And he goes into the building where centuries down the road
Yeah.
his sister would have been living in, and starts taking it apart.
Okay. As you start to break down that building, you see that the sparks are starting to land now on the rubble. So now it's time to quite literally run around and stomp out little tiny fires. And that's what there's a switch. It's automatic. People just turn around and it's now like, we made this break. This is as big as it's going to get. And that fire just it's coming. And you can
Yep.
see, I mean, you got a couple blocks, but it's going to be right there. And the heat and the sparks and the flying cinders and it's going to be horrific in very, very short order.
Mick's gonna look around, making sure every all the people, any animals or anything are all in the process of getting away. And if anyone is struggling getting away, Mick just runs up and just starts grabbing them
So
and
you just
running with them.
you start the rescue
Um,
process. Okay. Ted,
Okay. He's
you're
getting
on
to
the
point
roof.
where-
Yeah, you're
Yep.
on the roof. You get to that first spot. You know if there's 3 or 4 of them.
And I also have the full spectrum vision, so I
Oh
can
yeah, you
seeing where the hot
look over
spots
the
are.
edges. You can also
like-
see. You can use the opposite of that, looking at all these tubing that's on the roof. You can see the cool spots where the walls might be a little thinner, the water running through it.
And knowing the woodworking, and it's
Mhm.
like, okay, I need the water to go that way, so I need to basically break this here, and that
Yep.
should funnel it that way.
Hmm.
Others basically, if the piping is running in the right direction, just have it so it just comes off shooting out the piping,
Yep,
but starting to basically start to break.
perfect. So for the first roll, give me 2d10,
Okay.
and remember the cards that I was reminded to give to you guys.
Yep. I was looking at
Let's
this.
play with all the rules tonight. Kinda, rarely.
Just checking the cards real quick.
Yep.
All right. I could probably use this. This is in my wheelhouse.
Yep.
You can justify that success in the scene pertains
Yes.
to your core nature. You
Perfect.
succeed.
In autumn, yeah. So all that you've explained to me, I mean, 2d10, you were going to succeed anyway, so this makes perfect sense. So you just try a couple pieces and hit a couple things and spring a couple leaks, and you can tell it's working. But there's people on the ground yelling up at you, and they're kind of forming into 2 camps. They're the hey, you're a hero, yeah, you're putting out the fire, and the hey, asshole, that's our water supply. What are you doing?
And I look down and say, you can always put more water back. It'll be a lot harder to put the tanks on. Trying to just stop it. We use this water, it'll put it out and potentially save a whole bunch of London.
The next thing you'll be telling us we should shower.
We'll
And
just
it-
stand closer to the water coming
It
down.
continues, but yeah,
Use it.
they're harassing you, but not actively trying to stop you. Very
I do
quickly.
have persuasion, so
yeah.
if need be.
Yeah. Oh no, they're not coming up yet. Blake, real quick before we cut back to Francis.
Again, she's going to use that full spectrum vision
You
to
bet.
navigate around
Yeah.
the buildings using her clinging.
Yep. Easy to walk up and around. Yep.
She's going to hop, of course, from building to building,
Mm-hmm.
looking for the best places to release the water to where it would do the most helpful.
Yep.
It would be the most helpful.
But you do have that decision to make. So
Yeah, so basically she'll just be using the visions to find the proper place where everything needs to be.
the question remains: do you want to try and save the downtown London, or do you want to try and save the posh neighborhood?
Downtown London safe.
Okay, so you send it out into the bush. Okay,
Mhm.
so because of that, that's a decision. I don't need rolls for breaking the tubes on that because it would be easy.
Yeah, well,
you know,
no. Yeah.
Besides, I'm sure you got stuff, cards, and things.
Yeah, she thinks about it for a moment, and
Yeah.
because they're more spaced out, so it should be easier to fight the fire a little bit better.
Mhm.
And plus, if their houses get destroyed, they can rebuild it because they have the money to do so.
Yep, and they've got staff to help get. It's a good. It's an absolutely justifiable decision, but I
Yep.
wanted you to have to make it. So that means that the new version of downtown stays, so that when you guys get back to 2023, that bit of it will still be the same. The rest of it got built over anyway, so all you did was burned a bunch of posh houses that got built over anyway. But I want to come back now to recently knighted by the Majesty. I don't remember which one. I should have looked it up.
Mhm.
But yeah, Sir Francis Bacon standing on the streets of a burning London.
Yes, he thinks about his phone that being a bit too far in the past for there to be any batteries or
Oh,
source
yes.
of voltage to charge the phone,
Yes.
unfortunately,
Yep.
and his inexperience with good charging mechanisms.
Yes. If only you'd
Damn
been
you,
a physics.
educational
Yeah,
system.
if only you'd been a physics kid.
Well, it's quite difficult to get all these raw materials before
Yeah.
1800s.
Not to mention
Anyways,
16-point plugs.
Yes, trying to get something into a USB-C was the bane of his existence for 5 years.
Charles II, apparently. Thank you.
Oh yes, the
Chuck-
one
Yeah,
that
he's
they
awesome.
killed.
Chuck
Anyways,
the two.
yeah,
The Merry Monarch.
every Chuck for some reason ends up dying.
So
weird.
far, will no one rid me of this?
Anyways, he goes down
Don't
the
make
street, and as
sense.
he's
Yes.
rushing, he's going by this neighborhood that he helped get a better understanding for, and knows where all the waterways are, and he's seeing that the water's gushing, and he goes, "There's something I laid out," and he goes to a street, and there is these analyzes the situation because he spent some time sizing
Yes.
things up, and he goes,
Yes.
"Right, I designed the gutter systems, and I designed them so I could." And he like looks over to his where he usually grabs his cider. He donated his skateboard that's sitting above the entryway, and it just says donated by Sir Francis Bacon for his beautiful performance in Shredding in the Park by William Shakespeare. And he's gonna take the skateboard off that hasn't
Yep.
seen any grease or any care in a number of years.
Doesn't
And
matter.
he's just going to start humming the Ace of Spades to himself as he's going to skate along the little traps for where the water is supposed to be, and he's going to open up sluice gates along the way,
Ah,
trying to allow to help Mick out with breaks in the fire. But it's
Right.
definitely
Oh.
reliving his existence. Yes, and there's the big flowery pomple
yeah,
thing,
rough.
and he rips that off
Yeah.
because he goes, "Huh,
Yes, and
can't
the,
shred
and the
gnar with this."
oh yeah, and the tight tunic with all the buttons and the frilly trousers and the tight. Oh yeah, codpiece and all. Sir Francis.
Well,
Uh,
the ruffle did have to come off because we can't go back to those neck collars that we had.
yes, yeah. So yes, Brilchan, you got your wish. So yeah, down the oh yeah, like it's like a huge half pipe, right? And you're just flipping. Oh, Tony Hawk.
all the
flipping
parks,
all
all the
the
parks
stuff.
in London have half pipes.
Yes,
that's
yes.
another thing in,
Yeah.
in this pastime.
Oh yeah, of course they do. And so we have this scene of this 66-year-old Sir Francis Bacon shredding water, fighting fire, and just yeah. And I got to say, because somebody said Tony Hawk Pro Skater, now there's the 99 Red Balloons by Goldfinger version in my head while he does this. Yeah, but you did Ace of
I
Spades.
was looking up.
Ace of Spades
I was
is even
looking
better.
up Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 soundtrack because that was the one with Darth Maul in it. It was the best one.
Yes.
Found that.
Um,
And yeah, he's just he's reliving, and he's thinking back to his OG, his person he looked up to the most, which is Tony Hawk, who
Yeah.
actually still shreds at his current
Yes,
big
they
age.
do. Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
they do. And still has most of their parts with feeling all the way to the end of them, as I understand it. So, but with that epic moment, all of you feel the history starting to fade around you. The fire is contained. It's much, much smaller. I mean, it's still the Great Fire of 1666, but it's almost small enough that they had to take away the capital G. You know, it's kept to an area and then allowed to burn out into the wilderness. A couple of rich people lost castles, but it's castles. So as you said, you know, the peons are just going to pay to have them rebuilt anyway.
They had insurance.
Yes,
they
sure
could
they
afford
did.
it.
Yeah, which is insurance, aka cheap labor. The kind of rough
Kinda rough
fire. Yeah,
fire.
yeah. the difficult flammable issue of 1666. But
Ted does try to go down to find the sign.
absolutely, yes, Thomas Ferris Royal Bakery in Pudding Lane. You do so, and
Yeah, it's
oh, I got to do this. Yeah, Tyler, you come up out of the last of the half pipes and land on, stick the landing, kick the board up on one hand, look down, and you're back where you started. And right beside you on the pavement, on the cobbles, is your bread. And beside it, because somebody knows you very well, is your pint of cider.
There's a strange just rush of joy and familiarity as he looks at the situation resolved, grabs a pint, and, well, I'm not sure if this is what you had in mind in your journey today, but it was lovely seeing you all again.
I
Safe
want
travels in the future.
to do this one from the perspective of a 66-year-old man, because I'm a 57-year-old man.
And it hurts. A lot of things hurt.
Not only is your body in crippling pain from tonight, but and your mind is reeling. Your heart just won't slow down. Like it's supposed to slow down, and stuff starts going dark. And you look around and you can't hear them.
I look for my cane. Where's my cane?
You've got your board.
Okay, yeah, I will brace myself then, and I will try to maintain gentlemanly posture.
You're fighting with everything you've got. The rest of you can see it. He's sweating. You guys are fading. Like you know what's happening, but it's been 50 plus years. He's forgotten, plus reasons, fear. You're starting to fade, so maybe you're wondering where you're going, but Tyler, you feel a vibration in your breeches. It's your phone.
Is it?
You
It
pull
lights
out,
up.
It lights up. There are, rules be damned, there are terabytes of footage. Your whole time here.
It's syncing.
Yes. It's syncing
That's
with
strange.
the hologram.
That's
I don't care how good your signal are. That's probably going to take a moment.
yes, he's just looking and just
It's all this timey-wimey stuff.
trying not to pass out. And he
Yep.
goes, "My time. Bye." Just says to himself. He's kind of happy. He's done a good thing.
So
The people that he knew once,
you
old friends,
literally
are disappearing.
just watched your life flash in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
As you fade to darkness, the other three fading with you, but unbeknownst to you, the four of you appear back in London 2023. Blake, Ted, and Mick, you've been through this before. It's just, there's that sort of wrenching motion that almost makes you ill. But as you get here, Tyler hits the ground. Bang. And it's Tyler.
13-year-old Tyler.
Tyler, you fall into the darkness. Like, this is it? Really? Infinite darkness? It's just a fall. It's just like, and then there's a shot. And you realize you've hit the ground. So you can't be dead.
Oh.
I thought you were more agile than that.
And you hear the voice.
Shut up, Satan.
Yeah.
He's gonna roll over.
Yeah.
And,
Mick
no.
reaches down and just grabs Tyler and sets him gently on his feet. You all right there, Tyler?
What? No.
Ted sits there and just kind of pokes him in the forehead.
No. Don't.
That was
I
neat.
am a
That was neat.
knight. I'm a knight and gentleman of the king's court.
Do you have your card for that?
Me.
I have kids, man. I can't go through puberty again. What the? Okay.
Mick will
think-
just put his hand on Tyler's shoulder and like, I can't say I know what you're going through, but
No.
but let me finish, Tyler. You will never lose those memories that you had. You had a lifetime. You may not be able to finish the story that you wrote back in the 17th century, but you lived a very good story. You don't even have to call it history if you don't want it to, but it's still your story.
While
It
Nick
will
is saying
never
this,
end.
Aw.
Ted pulls out his phone and does a quick search.
It is Sir Francis Bacon Day because today in 1666, while saving the city from the Great Fire of London, did Francis Bacon meet his maker.
Oops.
Well, Tyler, looks like you'll never be forgotten.
He just turns back to the he like does the swivel thing with the camera that's in his backpack now that he has his
Yeah.
backpack on again.
Yeah.
He goes, "Wow, that was a bit of a crazy ride. Make sure to like and subscribe, and don't stop watching. You can become you can join the Twitch. You can subscribe, and see what else is wacky's gonna go on. He's gonna end the stream. He's just
Yep.
gonna start crying.
You finally-
He's just
oh,
gonna
I'm
like
just-
sit somewhere and just cry
Yep.
and go like, I didn't even get to tell her that I was going. I guess she just thought I died. Okay.
Saving London. So, but I don't quite have anyone like that. But from what I just looked up, I'm sure she knows you died a hero, and I'm sure that we have some comfort to her that you saved them and many others you knew. You said you had kids.
Yeah.
What was their names?
Theodore. And I guess
Oh, please tell me one of them was Kevin.
what? No.
Such an opportunity. Oh, but no, I know. Look, I like Nick. I don't know I can't know what you're going through, but if you made this much of a change, you are part of history. I know that from what I've seen you done in just a few days that I've known you, I'm sure they've done just as much. If they're from you and you raised them, I'm sure this world's a better place right now.
That's possible. I'm gonna avoid trying to look them up. I'll let you know if I want any of you to look them up for me. I don't want to know how they died. But
No problem.
guess I gotta go back to my tour and my parents. Was that the last one you guys were doing? Is it all wrapped up, or is there
One more, I think.
Oh,
we got one
We have
more
to-
trip around the merry-go-round.
but we've kind of got to look that one up though, because Funny story. We may have actually. We have to look. We may have actually saved the church that was supposed to burn. No, that one went up.
No.
So
It was right in the middle, right next door.
It went up. So they're
it was
the only
nearby, but
out of character. The only one left is St. Paul's Cathedral.
Right.
First of all, from this point on, do I refer to them as Tyler or Francis? You were Francis for 55 years.
I've added the detriment of bad at not disassociating, and
Okay.
I've now added the skill history. So
Perfect.
it's up to you.
How about a
Uh,
slash for next week? Tyler /
yeah,
Francis? for the
whatever
last-
whatever
okay.
you like,
Yeah.
whatever you like. It's
Yeah.
a very strange,
And
very strange.
I also, again, out of character, I love the idea that at the end of all of this Practical Man at the end of it all said, "We have another one," and then okay, like that, beautiful. But in fact, we're gonna do a quick round. The thing we're gonna more or less drop the I know it's really early, but that was intense. So we're gonna drop the curtain on that scene itself, except that I want to now go around the table and see what's in everybody's heads, their characters, and I want to start with Blake because you didn't say much after you saw what had happened to Tyler / Francis.
What's going through her mind is, man, this hologram thing is strange, bizarre, crazy. Does weird things at weird intervals. Who knows what we're gonna find next when we go to St. Francis Cathedral at this point. Let's just hope we can get it done and we can get back on with our lives. Hopefully, Tyler comes to terms with everything and we all get along just fine in the end.
Mick.
Oh, this is hard for Mick because he was the youngest sibling in his family. He has his older sister who he has to check on, see what her new situation is, because who knows what happened to the part of town where her place was, like how that all shaped out. And then the situation with Tyler, where he basically lived a full life, had a family, had a wife, had children, and then being wrenched forward and backwards in time at the same time, only to have to re-experience everything. Because even though Mick didn't go through puberty twice, like what, and live a second life essentially, Mick still had his growing up experience when he went into the military and being estranged from his sister.
Yeah.
So it's not the same, but when he sees Tyler basically, like, I almost imagine him, I imagine the skateboard hasn't been fixed yet, and he's just holding it under his arm and is just bawling. And Mick's heart just breaks for him because he can't, because like Mick's a very competitive and focused on
Yeah.
that person. He doesn't like, he always looks to try to find a winning situation, and just like with the Centurions when he was outnumbered 11-1,
Yeah.
he doesn't see a winning scenario here for him to fix this.
Yep.
And
So you
he
have that
wants to
dad
fix
moment.
it, but well, I don't know if it's really a dad moment
Oh,
as much as an older brother moment.
Except that your older brother rings somebody who's 70.
Half his age.
Yeah.
roughly.
Yeah. Well, in one sense,
Or-
half your age,
or
and in one sense,
mentally.
70 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, an odd
And-
situation for sure.
So, and then he goes back to the fact that he remembers his realization that he had that he doesn't have to do everything himself anymore and that he can rely on other people, but he feels like we're all kind of feeling in the same
Sure.
emotional space right now, and
Fair. Yeah.
he just kind of looks over at Ted and Blake and back to Tyler, and he just kind of trying to think of he just has this, like, if somebody could look like they're crying but they're not
Oh yeah.
crying.
Yeah.
I don't know the word
Just a
of
deep,
how.
just a moment of deep empathy. I got you.
Yeah.
Ted.
So, hearing what Tyler had said about not wanting to know or anything about his family, he just kind of brings up, well, our next one would be the church. I just want to do a quick search
So you
on
just
the background.
right back to
So,
business. Yeah.
But no, what he's actually doing is while he's doing that, he's just keeping the phone so that none of the others see it.
Yeah.
And he's actually doing a quick search, family search.
Yeah.
He's got links in his phone for sites that in his previous life of a week ago, that he could do quick searches on people. And he just starts doing a quick rudimentary search to look up descendants of Sir Francis Bacon and just trying to see if they carried on what he has seen in Tyler, if what he had imparted, if
Absolutely,
it shows a quick referencing, if it shows that they went.
And what you see is a trail of scientism, the application of logic to situations. They become a family that's famous for innovation and caring. And the big thing that they do that kind of forces other families into it eventually is they do all the research and then give away the results. I'm reminded of the Volvo engineer that designed seatbelts and then gave away the copyright to it so that everybody could use them without having to pay a fee. That sort of feel is what I get, what I think would happen in that situation. So we'll leave that there because, as chat pointed out, Tyler Nicky is just existential horror incarnate. Being a teenager is bad enough. Being a teenager, knowing what you would know as a 66-year-old man is a horrifying thought. Yeah, how is that processing in that set? Because I'm assuming is this sort of, well, you tell me, is this a double mind now or?
Oh, it's all the same. It's all the same, like, consciousness, more
Yeah.
or less. It's
Yeah.
just the, like, it's going to be very difficult to try and, like, act like not a 66-year-old, I
Sure.
suppose. And it's the elevated hormones of being a teenager and feeling insanely helpless and knowing how helpless you are in a lot of situations, and having all your agency ripped away from you after knowing what that's like, and having to think about all the interpersonal relationships and being like, God, I have a crush on Becky, and I told my friend before I left, so he's gonna want me to care, and I don't care about Becky anymore. I miss Alice. And he's going through all the things. And there's some brief moments of, like, kind of joy that he's missed and aches a lot for his family and for people back home. And probably, like, through the tears, he's like, okay, guys, can we I know this might sound sudden, but can we go get something deep fried? Like, please?
And that is where we will drop the hard curtain on tonight. That is the most 13-year-old thing I have ever heard in my life.
If
Dominic.
you lived in the 1600s
Oh,
and you
yeah.
came back to 20,
Oh, yeah.
our Lord,
Yeah.
our Lord's year of 2023, you'd be
Yeah.
like, give me the nuggets
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you like some sauce with that? Yes, all. I want all the sauces. I will pay extra. Do you take
Oh.
gold?
Yeah.
Do you take gold?
I guess he thinks about like what he has, but he has his experiences.
Wow. Okay. I am really looking forward to seeing how Tyler / Francis tries to pull his shit together for one more run. Your character, I didn't really think of this until sort of now, but your character is going to do this last episode as a member of the Expendables, while the rest of them are still in the first movie. Right?
It's fine. I got the body. Of
That's the thing. That's the thing.
13-year-old now.
You
So
are
I'm like,
you are
I'm like,
potentially the
wow.
scariest thing in the world. Yeah, 13-year-old with 50 years experience.
yeah,
Ooh, yeah, okay, good.
I'm like a vampire.
Yeah, so that means I got to rethink next week and make it far more challenging. But quick before we go to the thank yous is it was brought up in character, also out of character. I want to mention consent was specifically requested and given about aging the character, leaving them in that land in that world. In fact, it was you that said, here's a way we could make it even more outrageous, and it was you that said, don't bring him back until we come back to 2023. So thank you for the consent. Thank you for saying yes. And
The words
something
were,
amazing.
this would be funnier if I didn't have a choice and I was forced to be a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah.
It's funnier.
I didn't want to use that word because but yes, that's what it was, and it was anything but I absolutely get it. I'm really looking forward to next week. So with that comment about consent, thank you all. We got 1 week left, so one adventure left, and at the end of that, we're all going to do as characters, and I'll do it as the GM. We're going to do what Eddie just had to do now for Tyler. We're going to do the future run out. Like, how does this, after you solve this last problem and you end up in a completely new and different London, but suddenly somebody says tomorrow morning it's just Monday, nobody knows what happened, now you got to go back to your lives. So think about that a little bit. We went real short again tonight. It's been a couple times, but this is so fast and so furious it doesn't need to go longer. These intense scenes, we get you in, get you out. You also didn't have to do the whole museum scene at the start because you got sucked to the tube instead. So with that, thank you so much to Sean. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Solar, and thank you, Aaron / Primus. I'm never going to stop. You and Bison _ Stonefist have special announcement names now. So thank you all for coming and playing this. I love all these characters. I love the development that we've seen from them, and I'm really looking forward to 1,092%. I know, although I know that's mathematically impossible. I'm looking to see these players at their absolute max blowout levels next week. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'll remember to give you your cards early. And I'll give you more opportunities to use them too, because this one's going to be, it's probably the only flat out fight scene there is, unless you figure out how to get out of this. So that was kind of the gag, is we went all these 9 adventures without a single actual real fisticuffs. I think there was 1 or 2 punch fests, but there wasn't a real fight. So that's what we're getting to next week. There's the spoiler. Yeah, you got a week to catch up, Brill. There's only 8 other episodes, so you're good. You're fine. A couple days without sleep, you'll be fine.
I mean, I think one solid
16-hour block and you're
yeah. Well, I don't even think it's 16 hours.
You're right. It probably isn't. Yeah. Especially
'Cause
after
now
you
we
finish.
have-
And then
the
search
early
up
ones
Eddie
were-
Elfman on Audible and just
Yes.
add those to the list.
Add
as
all of
well,
those to the
you
list.
know,
Yes,
just
yes.
queue up a good
Yeah.
8
Yep.
hours of audio.
Yep. Listen to all of it. Leave positive reviews, especially for his stuff. Yeah, you're trying to make a living doing this. I'm just fucking around with friends. But speaking of fucking around with friends, thank you to the friends in chat. Some of you, it's 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, so thank you. Everybody that ever shows up to watch this, thank you. I'm always amazed. So if you're watching on the VOD, thank you. Then if you're watching on YouTube and you watched all the way to here, please hit the button. Hit all the buttons so you know when we're putting more stuff out. This series is coming to an end, but that just means another one's going to start. So until next time, which in this case I think is probably going to be, I think it's Tuesday before we get another game now. But until then, please be nice to each other. Good night.
Thank
Night,
you, Kevin.
everybody.
Oh, you're very
Bye.
welcome.
Bye.
Bye.